$3.4 million purse is split equally between the men and women's event. You see the notables in the field. Ryan Fox, what a year he has had. The aforementioned Cameron Smith will be there as well. Marina Alex, Ashley Buhai, Jennifer Kupcho, major champ. For more, let's welcome in Beth Ann Nichols, senior writer with Golf Week magazine. Let's start with this special week in Australia featuring the men and the women. What has caught your eye so far?
Well, a couple of things. I think, I always think it's wonderful when we can celebrate equal purses and sharing the stage like we see in tennis. But unfortunately, with the timing of this event being after the LPGA season, no longer a co-sanctioned event with the LPGA or the LET, a lot of players didn't make the trip down under. And so because it preserved the integrity of the field, it was originally supposed to be 144 players for both the men and the women. But the women's field has since been reduced to 108, and the men's has been enlarged to 156. The purse remains the same. But it really is unfortunate because when you consider the great history of this event, the wonderful courses that they're playing in the Sandbelt, and yet because of the timing, again, it's overlapping the start of Q Series as well on the LPGA. It's right after the finale on the Ladies European Tour and leading into their qualifying school. It's just such a tough time for young players, and then also for veteran players who want to shut it down and preserve what little off season they have before starting the Tournament of Champions.
Beth Ann, you published a story on Golf Week about somebody who is playing in Australia who might prefer to be playing at the LPGA Q Series, Gabby Ruffels. Tell us what happened with her.
Oh, it's such a sad story. She's not the first player to miss the registration deadline for Q Series, but I remember this happened to Mel Reid one time too, but it really just breaks your heart when it happens, because it essentially is like a year-long sentence unless you do something heroic to play your way onto the LPGA. But so Gabby Ruffels said she was actually driving up to Mobile, Alabama on a scouting trip in early November, 10 minutes away from the golf course. The thought crossed her mind, have I registered for Q School? What do I need to do here? And so she looks on the player portal, just as I said, right outside the gates, basically, and realizes that she's missed the deadline by basically a month. And so, unfortunately, there was no recourse. She'll be heading after this week. She'll be going to Ladies European Tour School to try to get a few more options. She finished 15th on the Epson Tour money list, so she has full status there. But she missed qualifying for Q Series by a single stroke last year. And so to not be able to compete this year based on paperwork is just brutal. The silver lining to all of this is that she is competing on her home club, Victoria Golf Club, staying in the same neighborhood where she grew up and visiting a lot of her old haunts. So it is nice to be back home in Australia, but wish it was under different circumstances, I'm sure.
No doubt. Talent finds a way. You have to. Eventually, she'll be on the LPGA Tour. I asked this question, Beth Ann, with great trepidation. You spoke to Lydia Ko's sister, I understand, after she won the CME Group Tour Championship, who has some comments on how long she thinks Lydia might continue to play on the LPGA Tour. What did you learn?
Yeah, it's a hot button topic because Lydia, as we know, is only 2 points away now from qualifying for the World Golf or the LPGA Hall of Fame, excuse me. And she obviously has stated many times that she won't play past the age of 30, and she's getting married soon, later in December. So a lot of question marks surrounding this comeback. And Sura, who also doubles as her manager, said that, Lydia really looks to the 2024 Olympics in Paris as a key moment. She really wants to play there. If she were to get her 2 Hall of Fame points, which if she were to win a major championship, she would get to 27. She would likely hang on and play in the Olympics and then reevaluate after then, perhaps moving on to the next chapter of life. She's looking into interior decorating. She loves watching those remodel homes on television and just has, as she said, has talked quite a bit about what she might like to do next, already thinking ahead. So, I think Lydia has said, she said just at CME that she won't hang around just to get that last Hall of Fame point if she's ready to go. But now that she's so close, I would be really surprised if we saw Lydia Ko make it to age 30 on the LPGA. She's only 25 years old, and I think 2024 we might only see her compete a few more years.
That would be a shockingly early departure from the game. But then again, Lorena Ochoa pretty much set the bar for that one, Beth Ann.
She did.
You published a story a couple of weeks ago during the CME Group Tour Championship about how the CEO of CME, Terry Duffy, had been disappointed that LPGA players did not show up at a corporate dinner during the tournament. And he was quite critical in your article of Molly Marcousseman, the commissioner of the LPGA Tour. Has there been any fallout from that, or what can you tell us about how that landscape lies right now?
Well, you know, I can say that I was kind of shocked by some of the player reaction on social media and the like in the aftermath, given the fact that it seemed to me like they were throwing the sponsor under the bus a little bit. I think there was a lot of point missing going on here. It shouldn't matter that Serena Williams was scheduled to speak at that dinner, and that perhaps might have been the reason some players decided not to go. That's not the point. The point of players being there was not to hear Serena Williams. It was to be there for Terry Duffy and his clients. And so, you know, I think that there was a massive breakdown in communication all the way around. You know, I think some players obviously should have communicated whether or not they were going to attend if they had changed their mind. I think maybe there should have been a better education as to what they were signing up for and the importance of it. And then I think this could have been diffused a lot quicker had leadership been more proactive in apologizing and not taken as long in getting that across that this will not happen again. And we understand how important it is. So I just think it was just kind of a domino of mistakes. And I hope that it's something that players, you know, really take seriously, because I think it was an important story to tell, because Terry Duffy writes a very big check for the LPGA. He was very upset. I spoke with him on a Thursday, came back to him again on a Saturday, still felt the same, you know, hadn't really changed at all in his level of frustration and concern, and was laying it all at the feet of leadership. So, you know, it will be interesting to see if there's any continued fallout from this as we go down the road. But I think it's an important time to revisit what Mike Whan, you know, preached in the beginning of his tenure, of understanding why each particular sponsor is writing a check each week, because their needs, their reasons behind doing it vary week to week.
It's a tough look at the season ender, which is so often a celebration, but hopefully those communication lines will be open going forward. Beth Ann, thank you so much for time on this Wednesday. We'll speak to you down the road.
Thank you.